everybody, this is Oliver Fanio and my mission is to introduce you into organic Japanese green tea. And today I've brought a special tea for me, and this is the Bancha. Bancha, also known in Japan as a quite simple tea. It is the second most drunk tea after the Sencha. Around 10% of all the tea drunk in Japan is coming from a Bancha. And why I like this tea, especially for post-workout tea, is due to its low caffeine content. Often due to my time schedule during the day, I only go to the gym in the evening, so I'm in need of a tea, of a green tea, which is actually a little bit lower in caffeine. So the Bancha presents itself as a very good solution for this, because here we talk about around 1/4 or around 1/3 of the caffeine content of a normal cup of coffee. So we are talking around 25 to around 30 milligrams of caffeine in Bancha. And this is one point of this tea, and there are also some other points which I like to mention here. So on the other side, and what is also pretty good, especially when you do muscle training, is that you need to alkalize your body a little bit more. So what I personally like is that the Bancha itself has this alkalizing effect, so it gets out a little bit acidity of the body, enhances finally also my performance in the training, and it also lets me be less tired after a workout. So it is a perfect addition when I come back from sports. Then what is also a good point about the Bancha is that actually Bancha has a higher amount of iron. So some people, or sometimes you hear that the intake of green tea is a little bit linked to the iron deficit. This mainly appears or occurs when you are in mixing green tea, when you have your food intake, so the absorption of the iron is not so good. So you should do it a little bit later, around half an hour and an hour after having eaten. And Bancha has or is one of the teas with the highest amount of iron in the leaves. So you can not only drink it, and it is also more bioavailable as the tea also gives the iron to the water, but then you can also eat the leaves, especially when they are organic. Another point is about the Bancha, that the amount of catechins in this tea is quite high, and catechins, especially the EGCG, this is one of the most famous, is also quite present in the matcha. This catechin is linked to promote weight loss and to boost your metabolism. So this is also another reason why I personally like Bancha quite a lot as a gym or as a after sports or post workout drink. So when we go a little bit more into what Bancha exactly is, if you go into the Japanese green tea, or Japanese people consider Bancha as quite everyday tea. Ban, so it's also called, or it's also referred to simple, or ban is also referred to late harvest. So often Bancha is a little bit of a later harvest of lower quality leaves, meaning that they're just a little bit lower leaves. They're not as high in, for example, caffeine. They're not as high or not as strong in chlorophyll, but you have some good amounts of minerals in the green tea leaves, which then are quite good for your body, and especially also for digestion. So when you go and have dinner and you want to have a tea which is also good for digestion, Bancha is quite a good thing. So often Japanese people also drink Bancha after having a big meal, just to help them also to digest the food easier. And one important point about Bancha is actually that Bancha itself has the ability also to be very smooth to the body, thanks to the fact that it is already alkalizing. It is also good for the liver and also on the intestines. It has a very smooth effect. So Bancha, all in all, a very smooth, quite a easy tea for the body, not too much caffeine, so it's not about these activating teas. It is considered a little bit as a lower quality leaves, but still with all these positive aspects. For me, a great post-workout tea or a great tea also to drink regularly during the day, and especially when you're a little bit sensitive to caffeine, this tea can be a very good solution for you. But let's go just into drinking this tea. So I just brought here with me my Kyushu, and I brought 5 grams of Bancha from the region of Shizuoka, a beautiful region. Around 50% of the whole tea which is grown in Japan is coming from there. This is from the farm Masuda, so it's a family farm, and Mr. Masuda showed us around, and I am personally a big fan of his Bancha because it's also, for a Bancha, quite smooth, quite easy to drink. They're a little bit stronger Banchas, but this organic one here has quite a smooth and nice taste. I just add around 65 degrees water, so we are here around 155 Fahrenheit, and we're just gonna leave it for a little bit more than 1 minute. Good, so we are done. A little bit more than 1 minute. I'm gonna just pour this into my simple glass I brought here today. No tea glass, just a simple and normal glass for a simple tea. I'm gonna try to get out all the water, and what you can see also, it is a little bit of a darker, a little bit more golden color. Reminds me quite strongly about the Kokicha, but it is not as stemmy, or it doesn't have so many stems like Kokicha. You can see the leaves are also not so green like a Fukamushi or like a typical Sencha, so they're a little bit darker. These are lower leaves, a little bit more brownish. You have also some stems in it, so it's a good mix of stems and leaves, but without being a stem tea. So it's not a mix of leaves and stems, but it's just the lower leaves chopped into smaller parts, and there some stems absolutely can be part of the tea. With this one here also we have slight sediments at the bottom, so you can see them, and at the top a very nice golden color. Already in terms of nose, here we are much more at wooden notes, so a little bit of kind of this smoked wood. I have a little bit, then I have a little bit this the sweet wood taste when you buy it in the pharmacy, at least here in Switzerland. Sweet wood reminds me a lot of this tea. I have a little bit of earthy tones and a slight hint of grassiness, but very late grassy summer grass notes, but quite low, much below. So more dominant notes are definitely these wooden notes, a little bit these earthy notes, and a slight hint of kind of corn, or even going into the direction of popcorn. So let's have a sip and let's have a look. But I really have each time the impression when I drink a Bancha, it's just a very smooth tea. It's not like, it has not this character of a Gyokuro or a full-bodied Okomidori Sencha, for example, where you really have a round sweetness and different and very complex taste profile. Here we are at a gentle, smooth, wooden, a little bit of earthy tones, very easy and not too strongly developing in your palate. So it's a very nice drink for the evening time when I'm already had a different taste throughout the days. My mouth is not so delicate anymore, isn't able to absorb that many different taste aspects anymore also in the evening. And then a Bancha just presents itself as a very good tea, in my opinion. Just a perfect kind of mellow, soothing tea for going into the evening and the late hours of the day. So also with this tea, you will not be able to do 3 or 4 steepings at this intense flavor profile. The tea diminishes a little bit faster, But what I was able to do is already to do 6 or 7 brewings, but it's just that the tea gets much lighter, and what is nice about this Bancha is that it develops a little bit more of kind of a smooth, kind of a nearly sugary note. It's very, very soft and kind of delicate. It loses also, it's kind of this darker, this little bit lower, this a little bit more wooden and earthy notes, and it goes into a light sweetness, which is pretty nice about the Bancha. So maybe just have a second brewing of this one here. Just 20 seconds, that's enough. Second brewing is always quite easy to do with Japanese green tea. And I once read it's also a good tea actually for pregnant women, as it is one of the only one kind of absorbing or not absorbing the folic acid. So this tea can also be easily drunk by pregnant women. It's absolutely a possibility to have this one here during your pregnancy. Good. Still very good. So still very smooth. So second brewing definitely also worth it. So you can even go to 3 or 4 brewings with this one here. It will lose quite fast its flavor, but second one still very good. So at least 2 you can definitely do, maybe a third one. But it doesn't matter too much with Bancha, because the good thing about Bancha is that actually you have a very, very good value for money with this one here. For example, we are selling 100 grams of Bancha for $9.99. So it's quite a cheap tea, which then you can use 3 or even 5 grams. In this case, I used 5 grams. So you can make about 40 teas with this, which makes about 20 cents, 15 cents a cup. And there you're getting very close to the normal tea bags. So quite a good tea. And yeah, for me, it's always a pleasure to drink it after the workout. Maybe you have your own way of drinking your Bancha. Maybe you have your own tea for the evening. I would be happy to know. If you want, leave a comment. I will be happy to answer also any questions that you have. So thanks a lot for watching again. See you maybe tomorrow, or if I don't see you tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow. Bye bye, see you, and have a nice evening.